Winnie's here for story time. So I'm going to tell you a story about Sen going to his grandmama's. Over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house we go. Except it's not over the river or through the woods. It is in the Feywild. But you know what? We make it safely to the Feywild. Sen and his mom, and they're visiting his grandmother's in their lovely little cottage in the middle of the Feywild. I don't know where it is. It's the Feywild. Does it matter? No. Nay. And so Sen's gonna go play in the backyard. It's his favorite place to play. And they have weird Fey chickens back there and weird Fey goats probably. And it's a lovely little cottage and it's a lovely little time. But he hears this sound. A little wee. And he goes, well, that's interesting. And also I'm 10. So I'm gonna go investigate that because I have no sense of self-preservation. So he follows the wee sound and he finds a bush. A bush is making the wee sound. And he goes, last I checked, plants can't talk, at least not to me. And so he starts digging around in the bush and he still can't really figure out what it is until something bites his hand. What? He goes, owie! And he starts to cry for his mom because he just got bit on the hand and he's 10 and it hurts. And so his mom and his grandma and his Mima come running out because their precious little dude is crying. And they go, oh, what happened? And he goes, the bush bit me. And his grandmama goes, last I checked, bushes don't have teeth. What if it's a mimic? And so she starts doing a little bit of magic for a second, and his mom goes, wait, no. And she crawls and she picks up this small cat-like creature out of the bush. And it's kind of ugly, but it's also kind of cute. And Sen goes, what is that? Is that what bit me? And his mom goes, yes, it is, but don't worry. It's just a baby. And he's probably just as scared as you are. And so Sen goes, okay, what is it? And his mom goes, well, you see this here, Sen, is what we call a Gramishka. And we should be very careful with it because Gramishkas are allergic to magic. And Sen goes, no, that's terrible because the entirety of the Feywild is magic. It's terrible. Why is this thing here? And his mom goes, don't worry. Gram has a spell for this. And he goes, a spell? You just said they're allergic to magic. She goes, no. This is an unmagicking spell. And it's going to take away the magic allergy from the Gramishka. And so they go inside and they set this little cat thing onto the table. And his grandmama casts a little spell. And it unmagics the cat Gramishka thing. And then Sen goes, can we keep it? And his mom says, well, I guess. And so now they have a lovely little familiar called Gramishka. The end.
Okay, fuck. I'm going right into this. I just finished Sarah's video. And so I'm gonna go right into this. I'm giving you a little bit of time to get your headphones on, whatever you gotta do. Okay. You ready for this shit? So, let me take you back and tell you a story. A story about a man we know all too well. A man named Aseneth Torno. But not the Sen we know. No, not at all. In fact, Sen when he was young. Sen when he was 10. Now, Sen when he was 10 went over the river and through the Feywild wood to grandmother's house he goes. And at his grandmother's house, he played a game with the Fey chickens and the Fey goats, and his grandmother's as well, in the backyard specifically. And while Sen, when he was 10, was playing this game, he began to hear a little noise, a squeaking noise. And this squeaking noise, it came from a bush. It came from a bush. And so when Sen heard the squeaking noise, Sen when he was 10 heard the squeaking noise that was from the bush. He heard it and he said, I am going to go investigate because last I checked, bushes don't make squeaking noises. And so Sen goes, well, Sen when he was 10 goes, well, the noise, that squeaking noise that's coming from the bush doesn't squeak, so I'm going to investigate the bush. And so Sen puts his hand inside of the bush, and the bush, it snatches down and munches on his hand. Sen, when he was 10, heard a squeaking noise in a bush and put his hand in the bush, and the bush ate his hand, and it chomped down on his hand. And Sen, like the little crybaby 10-year-old twink that he was, began to scream and holler and cry. And so the lesbians, his grandmothers, the lesbians being his grandmothers, and the less lesbian, his mother, they all come out, and all in unison, all at the exact same time, they say, sweet Sennykins, my boy, what happened? And Sen, a crying, a blubbering, a buffoon, a mess, he says, the bush, it bit me. The bush that made a squeaking noise when I was 10 and I was playing in my grandmother's backyard, the bush, it bit me. And Sen's mother goes, well, last I checked, bushes don't make sounds, bushes don't squeak, and bushes don't bite. And then the one grandmother goes, well, it could be a mimic. And the other grandma goes, well, let me see, and begins to cast spells. But then the mom, so not the mimic grandma, and not like the spellcasting grandma, but the mom, she's like, well, hold on a minute, and puts her hand inside the bush, and Sen's mom pulls out a little creature, a little guy, a little creature who was a Gramishka. And they quickly go, no, stop the spell, because Sen, when you were 10, there was a bush that made a squeaking noise, and you put your hand in it, and then it bit you, and there was a Gramishka inside. The Gramishka has a magic allergy. And so Sen goes, well, what are we gonna do? And his grandma goes, I'm gonna fix it. And she goes, oh, I'm gonna fix it, let me cast a spell. And Sen goes, wait, no, but he's gonna blow up, he has a magic allergy. And she goes, no, don't worry, it's an anti-magic spell. And so the grandmother used her magic, her anti-magic to unmagic allergy the Gramishka. Sen took it home and named it Grammy. And they had tea together and became best friends. Good fucking luck, man. That's what I got. Don't send it to Sarah and don't send it to Keelan because they've already gone. Good fucking luck.
Okay, I'm gonna start this story now. It's gonna go really bad. I have a bad memory. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you a story about a man we all know and love so well, but not the man as he is now, but back when he was 10. Asenath Taro, you know him. When he was 10, was he was at his cabin, and he went over the river through the Feywild Wood to play in the backyard. And Sen, when he was 10, was playing with the Fey chickens and Fey children, I think, and his grandmas were there. And Sen, when he was 10, heard a squeaking coming from the bush. He said, that's odd, bushes don't squeak. And so Sen, he was 10, decided he should investigate. So Sen, when he was 10, went and investigated the bush and put his hand in it. And the bush bit him. And Sen, when he was 10, the twink that he is, screamed, help, the bush, it bit me. And so Sen's two lesbian grandmas come out and say, oh, we will help you. And so Sen, who was 10, who has put his hand in the bush that squeaked, said, hey, this bush just squeaked and it bit me. They're like, that's so interesting. And they thought of what it could be, but then Mom of Asenath, not Grandma, said, hey, look, I have this thing, and I forgot what it was. But anyway, they find out that it's a Gramishka. And the grandma's like, oh, I know how to get rid of these. They're allergic to magic. And the one grandma's about to cast an anti-magic spell, which makes a lot of sense. And oh, Winnie, you just are so nice. And when she did this, because this allergy is gonna make the Gramishka explode, and said, oh no, you're gonna make it explode. And then the anti-magic spell took away the allergy. And then Sen and, sorry, not Gramishka's the name, but Sen and this creature went and had tea and became friends. And it's her friend now, Remy. And I think that's the end of the story.
Okay. So, when Sen was 10 years old, he lived in the Feywild with his grandmamas, maybe, and he went outside to play over the river and through the woods. Yep. And in doing so, he found a little bush and it squeaked. Why would the bush squeak? Who knows? Bushes don't squeak. And so he reached out his little hand when Sen was 10 to touch it, and when Sen was 10, he got bit by a bush, and he yelled, and so his grandmamas and maybe his mother came running to help him out, because when Sen was 10, he was yelling, and so when his grandmamas and his mother maybe showed up to help him, they looked in this little bush that squeaked, and when Sen was 10, they found a Gramishka. I think that's what it's called. And I still got another minute and a half. And when Sen was 10, they when Sen was 10, they found this little Gramishka, and they pulled it out, and they said, oh, Gramishkas, they're allergic to magic. And so we will give it magic, and it will blow up. And in blowing up, that will get rid of the problem. So grandmamas did magic on the Gramishka, but instead of blowing up, it got rid of the magic allergy and the blowing up property. And that little creature, when Sen was 10, is known as Grammy. And when Sen was 10, he got a little Gramishka named Grammy, and he loved him forever.
Okay, so Sen's story. When Sen was 10, he lived in the Feywild when he was 10. Fucking damn it. And when he was 10 in the Feywild, he went to play over the river and through the woods when he was 10. And when he was 10, he found a bush. And when he was 10, it squeaked. So he's like, what the bush doing? So, cause it's squeaking. So, when he was 10, he stuck his hand into the bush, and the bush bit him when he was 10. And when he was 10, he screamed. And when he was 10, his grandmas and maybe his mom, went to go check it out. Cause this was when he was 10. And Okay. When he was and when he was 10, his grandmas and his mom went and looked in the bush when he was 10, and they went, "Oh, Grimishkas, they're allergic to magic. They're allergic to magic. We're gonna give it some magic." When Sen was 10, by the way, and instead of exploding and crippling dying when Sen was 10, the cat just got better. Oh my god, he just got better when Sen was 10. And when Sen was 10, the cat became Grimishka. And it no longer had the explosive diarrhea allergy to magic. When it got magic, it got better. When Sen was 10. And then they all lived happily ever after.